Hello guys and welcome back to yet another video. Today I'm going to be making my predictions for game week 33 of the 25-26 Premier League season. But before we begin, let's see how I did last weekend. I got one scoreline bang on, plus I got 5 more outcomes correct, so that is 8 points, taking my season total up to 194. And this is how the table looks after 32 game weeks. And without further ado, let's predict this weekend's matches. Then we're going to start with tomorrow's early kickoff match at 12:30. It's Brentford against Fulham in a London derby. Derby of two sides who, get results over the line here and there. Brentford are actually currently sitting 7th in the table. Somehow they've drawn quite a lot of games recently, but they're in pretty good form. I think they've drawn 4 matches in a row. Fulham are somewhere like 10th in the table. They are on pretty good form themselves as well. I think this is going to be a draw. I can see draw written all over this. I'm going to sit on the fence with a 1-1 draw on this first match. I can see a point not really hampering either side, not really helping either, but 1-1 draw for this one. And then we move on to the 3 PM kickoffs tomorrow. Leeds United against Wolves. And, Wolves are pretty much down. They've, they've packed their bags ready for the Championship next season. I think they could do quite well in the second tier next year, but, they did just lose 4-0 to West Ham last Friday night. But, they're in pretty poor form. Leeds beating Man United 2-1 on the Monday night. That was a huge 3 points closer to survival for them. And, this game being at Ellen Road against a Wolves side with really not a lot to play for. They're pretty much dead and buried now. I'm going Leeds. And I'm going Leeds for a clean sheet as well. I'm back Leeds to win 2-0. I think Leeds will get the 3 points and move the chains 3 points closer to survival here. 2-0 to Leeds. And then we've got Newcastle United against Bournemouth. And, I guess the big news is over the midweek, the announcement that Andoni Iraola is going to be leaving Bournemouth in the summer. He'll want to steer them to a good finish in the Premier League. Newcastle 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace last time out. Things are looking pretty bleak for the Magpies right now. And the Cherries, Bournemouth, just beat Arsenal 2-1. That was a huge puncture in Arsenal's title chances. I know it's at St James's Park, but I think I've got to back Bournemouth here. I think the Cherries will get the 3 points here. I just can't back for Newcastle right now, given their poor run of form. I back Bournemouth to edge at 2-1, but big 3 points for Bournemouth, but I think they're going to be around mid-table, in and around mid-table come season end. But 2-1 to the Cherries is where I'm going. And then next up we have got the 5:30 kickoff tomorrow. It's Tottenham Hotspur against Brighton. And, this is an interesting one. It's a Roberto De Zerbi derby. I'll try saying that like 5 times fast. It's tricky. De Zerbi currently managing Spurs, who are in 18th place. They're in the drop zone right now. Brighton are in good form. But I think Spurs being at home, they might be able to get something. They need to get something to have any chance of, surviving this relegation race with, Leeds playing Wolves and Forest playing Burnley this weekend. There's some big games they need to win, and this is one of them. I think De Zerbi might know how to play against his former side. So I'm going to go down the middle with a 1-1 draw. This may be foolish of me, but I think Spurs might get a point here. A 1-1 draw. Not a very useful point, but a point nonetheless. 1-1. And then we go to tomorrow's 8 p.m. kickoff. It is Chelsea against Manchester United in, well, another big game. Man United, as I already said, lost 2-1 to Leeds on Monday night. Chelsea with a loss themselves. Who was it against? It was a 3-0 loss against Man City. It was at the Etihad. But, yeah, if I had to pick a winner here, I would pick Man United, being the slightly better form side. But it is at Stamford Bridge, and I do think Chelsea might get something here. I don't think it's going to be a useful result for either. I think both will make Europe come season end. I'm going to go for a Desmond, a 2-2 draw on this one. I'm going down the middle. I can see both sides getting a couple goals and a point, but I'm not sure how useful that will be. But a 2-2 draw nonetheless. And then we go to Sunday's matches. We start with Nottingham Forest against Burnley in another big relegation, 6-point match. I say it's big. Burnley, like Wolves, are pretty much down to the Championship already. Forest are actually the 16th. They are out of the drop zone, and they're at the City ground, and they do tend to be grinding out decent results here and there this season. And Burnley, well, they look like they've just given up right now recently. They really have. I think I've got a back Forest and a clean sheet. Burnley don't tend to be scoring many. I'm going for us to win 2-0. I think that would be a hugely important 3 points for the Forest and the Forest fans, and I think they'll just get the 3 points, 2 goals and a clean sheet. 2-0 Forest. Next up, we've got Aston Villa against Sunderland in another, well, kind of crucial battle. Sunderland are, 11th or so? They're in mid-table. Villa are in 4th. They are, still in this Champions League discussion. I think the top 5 will get Champions League in the Premier League now this season. This is tricky. It is at Villa Park, and Villa have started to turn results around recently again. But Sunderland did get a big win last time against Spurs, 1-0. Villa with the 1-1 draw against Forest, like I predicted. It could be a draw. If I had to pick a winner here, I would pick Villa, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think a point apiece wouldn't be the end of the world for either. Maybe a slightly better result for Sunderland, because Villa need the 3 points realistically to challenge for Europe, but I think it will be a draw, 1-1. Next up, we have got the Merseyside Derby. It is Everton against Liverpool, and what a game this could, turn out to be. Liverpool are on pretty, up and down form, but Everton have been all right at home recently, and on the road. They've been pretty good form under David Moyes recently. Liverpool, in midweek, they did lose 2-0 to PSG in the Champions League. 4-0 on aggregate they lost. So they're out of the tournament in the quarterfinals. But Everton, it is at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and I do like Everton here. This is a game I could see going any which way, but I think I'm going to go down the middle with a 1-1 draw. I think Everton may well win, may well be able to get the 3 points with a narrow win here. None of Everton's games tend to be that overly high scoring, but I do think it might be a draw. I'll go for a goal and a point apiece, 1-1 on the Merseyside Derby. And then here we go. It is the big game on Sunday. It's a 4:30 kickoff. It is Manchester City against Arsenal in the title race. And, this is very much the title decider. Arsenal are top of the table. Man City are second. There is a 6-point gap, but course, Man City have this game, and they've also got a game in hand on Arsenal here. So, and they've got the form advantage. City have been flying recently. Arsenal, their form's really dried up in all competitions. Yeah, they beat Sporting 1-0 in the first leg in the Champions League, drew 0-0 in the second leg, and they have gone through to the semis 1-0 on aggregate. But they've recently lost to City in the Carabao Cup final, Southampton in the FA Cup, and of course Bournemouth in the Premier League last weekend. Things are looking pretty grim right now for Arsenal in the title race. Man City are potentially now my favourites to win this. I have had an inkling for a while they may well be able to go on and win the league. I am going to back City here at the Etihad with the form advantage and home advantage. Man City edge it 2-1, and that will be a huge 3 points. That'll make the gap 3 points, and that would be a huge 3 points closer to reclaiming the title for City. 2-1 to the blue side of Manchester. And then finally we've got a fairly big game on the Monday night as well. It's Crystal Palace against West Ham United in, well, Palace are currently like mid-table. I think they're like 12th or something in the table. West Ham are currently in 17th. They are just above that cut line, in just above the dotted line in the relegation zone, but they are on good form. But Palace are in good form as well, and it is at Selhurst Park. I don't know how useful a draw would be for West Ham. I don't think it would be the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination here. I could see West Ham getting the 3 points away from home. They are in good form. I would dare say slightly better form than Palace right now. But Palace are alright in form as well. I'm going to actually go down the middle with a Desmond again. A 2-2 draw, I think. And point, as I say, may well not be the best result for West Ham, but it won't be the worst. I think they are still above the drop zone here. And, well, point apiece, a Desmond and a 2-2 draw. And there you have it, guys. All 10 of this weekend's Premier League matches predicted. I'd love to know your predictions as ever in the comments down below. And I'll be back early next week for the Premier League midweek game predictions. And yeah, and see how I did then as well. And I'll see you all in the next one.